Table,
Bubba.
you know,
Got Bubba and Jason.
interesting. And it's unappetizing, really.
You about ready, Chief? Okay, 1 second. Let me get Jason time to sit down.
I've changed to elegant, classy, elegant. Trish went out there with us.
Start passing out candy.
Brandy meant too.
No,
Good evening. I'd like to call the regular order of the June 15th, 2021 council meeting to order. And as always here at Satsuma, we open our meetings with invocation, and we follow that by the pledge. So tonight, Mr. Butler is going to lead us in the invocation. So if you would stand, remain standing for the pledge.
Lord, we praise for the blessing for the city of Satsuma, for the state of Alabama, and for the nation. We pray for the sick that they are healed. And Lord, we thank you for all the blessings that we have and for our families. In the name of Jesus, amen.
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 Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Butler. Okay, Ms. Heather, would you give us a roll call, please?
sir. Councilmember Little,
Present.
Councilmember Butler,
Present.
Councilmember Skelton,
Here.
Councilmember Reese,
Present.
Councilmember Phillips. Here. Mayor Barlow.
Here. Please let the record reflect that all the members, including the department heads and our attorney, are here. So, moving on to number 4 on our agenda is the minutes from the June 1st, 2021 meeting. Have y'all had a chance to read and look over those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Little to approve the minutes as distributed. All of those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, let it show those passed. Moving on, number 5, recognitions. I don't think we have any special guest that's with us tonight, so we'll move from that on to number 6 with our visitors. We welcome everyone to come up and approach the council for about any type of issues that we can address, but sometimes people come up and bring up things that we haven't discussed. We don't know anything about it, so if you haven't been on the agenda, we just ask that you come up, state your name and what the issue is, and we'll see if we can address it in a timely manner. But occasionally we will have to say that we have to refer you to another meeting so we can research whatever it may be. But with that being said, almost everybody's always in line and good with that. So any visitors wanting to come up tonight? Yes, ma'am, this time you can come up, Mrs. Spotswood.
Okay. Good evening. The Women's Club 5-year contract is up, and it's been a long 5 years. But we're here to say that we're optimistic that we're going to have some things going on in the next month or so. But it is time to amend our agreement. And as we previously discussed, the first agreement was made June 14th of 2016. And the conditions upon the agreement here, the Women's Club has no suggestions other than maybe 1 or 2, but it is left up to the council for the agreement, and we're here just to say thank you for bearing with us for 5 years. But we will need some additional help. The number one thing in the agreement is the terms. We had a 5-year term, so if you will just take the agreement, look over it, get back with us. Hopefully, within the next couple of weeks, I'll be able to get with Tom Brian and a couple of the other members of the Women's Club, and we will see what we can come up with to reduce some of the cost from the original cost. The Women's Club has $120,000 set aside for the construction. There may be more, but right now we're raising money strictly for the furnishings. So, we have a while to go, but the main thing is this agreement was signed really yesterday, June 14th. So whatever you come up with, just get back with us if you will. But thank you for your support, and we will have a chapel.
Thank you, Ms. Spotswood. In our pre-council tonight, we discussed this at a greater length, discussing the building of the project and trying to get some numbers of what type of money we're actually looking for in order to get this thing going. Mr. Brian, who has been helping, is working to get us some information, and we hope to have the contract with the adjustments made that Jay is looking at to satisfy the Women's Club, and I think to address any concerns that the council has. You think you can have that back to us by the next meeting, Jay? Okay, well, we will do that, and we wish you all continued success with that, and we hope to see that project under construction in the not-too-distant future. Thank you all for what you're doing there. Okay, thank you, Ms. Spotswood. Mr. Jack, you always have something to say, so I don't see you sitting there. I know you.
I really was saying anything. I said, no, I'm not going to say anything. I ain't gonna say anything.
I knew you were, so come on.
You know,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not a big fan of Aldott.
Yes, sir, I know
I
that.
have nothing for Aldott except discord. I noticed that they cleaned out up here by the bridge. It took them 18 months to build a bridge 100 yards long. God only knows how long.
Two bridges.
To build a bridge across the bay.
2 bridges.
But anyhow, it looked to me like they had moved out from up there and left the grass in the medium there, knee deep or high, and God only knows what else they've left in that ditch. I don't know if they intend to clean it out or not, but they should be made to clean it out.
Okay.
They go over there in Baldwin County, they worked on Highway 31 over there for I don't know how long, that 4-lane Highway 31 over there. They say, well, we got no money. We got Highway 98, Highway 45 out here. God only knows how many people we have had killed on those two highways, and this is the start. It's been going on for the last 25 or 30 years. And here we are, I see in the call news the other day, we don't have enough money to 4-lane those highways. We got 2 representatives in the South Alabama right now that seems to be speaking up on behalf of us. And I think we need to get behind them, give them our complete support in everything that they do, and we need to bring Outlook. We've cussed and discussed Pilot up here for the last, I've been coming up here for the last 4 or 5 administrations. They've been on the board for the last 4 or 5 administrations. We've got no money, can't go do it. We go down here in Saraland and we build, we concrete half of the city down there. But they tell us we can't do nothing with that to them. So, I'd like to go on the record as saying, Aldott stinks. And if you need my support,
Yes, sir.
in any way, shape, or form, I've offered 2 or 3 of the mayors my services if they wanted me to go with them to the meetings, and they've all said, no, said, you can't go.
Well, I'm going to join my former mayors that have. Thanks for your support here around the city, but
I'm not gonna say anything, but I
But, yeah.
listen, I see what a mess they've left up there at that bridge, and it disgusts me. Thank you, Mayor.
well, thank you, and we are appreciative of them getting the bridge completed. I know that all of our citizens coming through town are thankful. So hopefully we can work with them to get them to work with us on some of these other projects. But thank you for your comments. Okay, anyone else want to come before the council tonight? Yes, ma'am, come on up.
I'm actually on the agenda, so.
Okay,
I hope
yes.
I'm not jumping ahead.
No, you're fine.
Thank you for allowing me to.
Sure.
My name's Melissa Hudson, and I live in Stonewall Park, just down the road. And, we are having some issues with speeding in our 2-street neighborhood. Doesn't seem like there's enough stretch of road for you to get up enough speed, but they are. And, so we were hoping to get some help from the city in this matter. We would really like some speed tables, or some people call them humps, not bumps. There's a difference apparently. One is, bad on vehicles and not good for the fire trucks, and the other is better. We don't feel like we would need many more, like 4 would be suffice. Something as much as that, as little as speed signs. I don't know if there's a, like, rule about not posting speed limit signs in neighborhoods, but we've been looking around, we're not seeing them in any of the neighborhoods. So I don't know if there's a reason for that. But we're just hoping that maybe the city could help us. Because eventually, eventually, something bad could happen.
Sure.
You know, we've got a ton of children in our neighborhood. Nobody wants to hit a child, nobody wants their child to be hit. There's already had, one of the neighbors have already had their dog run over. And, you know, that could happen going slow, but apparently this was not the case. So,
We certainly can have Crystal and the police chief to ride through that area and make sure that if there's no signs there, we certainly need to make sure that we get signs in the neighborhood. And
25.
That's what we assumed it was 25. 25 seems kind of fast when you're driving through there and you're being aware. And I mean,
Right.
if you looked at my driving history, you'd think it was odd that I was the one up here talking to you about this. But, because it happens, you know, people are distracted. They've gotten off work, got a million things on their mind, they're just not paying attention. That's why we really would like to see some speed tables there.
but that may take a little more time to order those and put those in. And like you said, sometimes people complain about those also. So have you spoken with your neighbors and
Everybody knows that this is what,
If, Mayor, if I'm not wrong, you have to have in the neighborhood 75% of the people sign a petition to do that.
I think that's the council has done that in the past, asked that they get the signatures of the people. It's got to go across it every day. But I mean, as far as getting some police presence in that area and adding signs, we can do that, you know, pretty quickly. So we could start that. And it probably would be a good idea to go ahead and get a petition with the property owners there, because there has been times we have taken the action or put those things in, and, you know, it had complaints by some of the people, so.
seats are full for me.
So,
From people complaining. Is there any sort of official petition that maybe I need to get from the city, or can I just type something up in Word, or?
I think you could just type something up. I think the couple I've seen up here were just
Last
people.
one's handwritten.
Yeah, just,
We don't have a formal form.
so, we just want to be able to make sure that we're showing that we're reacting to what the residents have asked for when we put those up.
That won't be a problem at all.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay, well, maybe we can help you out with that area, and give us a little time for them to look into it and, you know, get the signs ordered. No.
So when should I follow up about the signs?
How long has it been taking? I've noticed we've actually approved some signs and suggested it, and some of them have taken a little time to get in, but,
Those, we had the special order, a lot of those, the street signs. I believe we do have some of the 25 mile an hour in stock.
Okay.
So hopefully that wouldn't take us too long. We do have to get a line locate to make sure we don't hit anything. So I can get that called in tomorrow.
so hopefully by the first meeting in July, you'll see something. Okay?
I'll
Okay.
be there, I'll be here, petitions.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Does it have to be 25? Because that really seems like such a short stretch that you couldn't even get up that fast.
Oh, you can get up that house.
I mean, I think a council vote can make it what you want to.
Yeah, the council would need to pass an ordinance specifying a lower speed limit. If there's no ordinance in place, it defaults to the state law, which says 25 for residential areas.
Okay, thank you.
But you can make speed less. But,
Sure.
you know, so, yes. Okay. All right. I see a couple other people have come in. Anyone else want to come before the council? Sir, in the back?
He's next.
Okay, well, all right, I was wondering if you were going to come in. Well, you're a visitor, and actually, you're the very next person on the
I'm gonna
On the
take
list.
up you guys' time. I'm Chris
Expire, which basically means that I communicate with the excavation community and the general public about dig safety. Safety is one of our core values at Spire. We created this award to recognize municipalities who do a great job in their safe digging practices. So basically, Satsuma this year had the most recorded line locates called in with 0 damages. So in my area that I cover, which is Baldwin County, Spanish Fort, Daphne, Mobile, Violet Battery, of all municipalities, you guys did the best job of dig safety. So
Awesome.
we just want to commend you with this award, recognizing your dedication to public safety and the safety of our pipeline, and say thank you for your efforts, and
Okay.
look forward to coming back next year and giving you another plate to put on.
Well, thank you. Why don't we let Crystal come up and accept that on behalf of
Good job.
her and the guys, and I think the water board should share in that also, because I know they use y'all's line locate also.
Can I ask somebody to take a quick picture?
Sure.
Let's get a round of applause.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you
Thank
for coming,
you.
yes, sir. Yeah.
Thought we were gonna get a shovel.
Okay, well, hopefully I'm not leaving anybody out that wanted to speak tonight. If so, it's your last chance, but if not, thank those of you who are showing up. We're not having quite as many people come, but I'm still having a lot of positive feedback on people saying that they're watching the live streaming that we're doing, and it's almost weekly. I get 2 or 3 calls from people asking, questions of what they've seen or heard. So hopefully that's getting the information out. So I'm going to go into the mayor's report. This was covered a little more in detail at our pre-council meeting tonight, where we can kind of discuss things a little more openly and all before we go into the formal meeting. As I said, at the South Alabama Regional Planning Commission, at the last meeting we had, I think it was June the 3rd, we are planning to receive the continued support for our seniors program. That should be coming. I think there's some steps that they have to take care of in the office that Edith and Trish are working on to make sure we're supplying them the information they need. So I think we may get a little more money than we've gotten in years past, so I was real happy about that. Also, the resurfacing project, we got a little over $294,000 is what we're hoping to get for that, and we're hoping to get the movement on that very soon. So hopefully by the next meeting I can report back some information on that. I did tell y'all the Planning Commission has met twice in the last couple of weeks. We are looking at land use, some things that may move from a B2 to a B1. And it looks like it's going to be posted, but the council has to hear what the recommendation of the board is. So I just didn't want y'all to be caught off guard here in a few weeks whenever we do bring that over from the planning board to the council. Before the next meeting on June the 6th, I believe that'll be a Saturday. I'm pretty sure that's the lady called the Shrimp Lady up here is having her grand opening. So she has invited all of us to come by on that day. I'll make sure I forward the hours that she intends to do it on that day to y'all so you can attend. There was a question on the bill with the call news. I think we got that addressed and taken care of. Once again, we've discussed, which we seem to do at least once a month, the interest going into the Chevron and the pilot, and hopefully we can get with ALDOT and get something moving on that before too terribly long. But as Mr. Jack brought up, we at least did get 43 back open, and so maybe we got one project, we can start another now. It's not on the agenda tonight, but I would like to add, for calling for another building inspector 2 list. We have been trying to recruit some applicants Mr. Skelton has also asked about if we would look at perhaps filling that with a contract person, and it looks like the council all agrees that nobody had any opposition, so if that's okay, we'll contact that gentleman and proceed with the list. If y'all want to do it now, we can. If you want to put it on and make that number 9, we can do that on the building inspector, whatever.
Well, you can do it either way. We'll go ahead and, let's go ahead and get it going, so.
All right, I agree with that. Now, what's over with?
We've been without long enough.
All right, Mr. Skelton, you going?
I can do that.
Thank you. Mr. Skelton, and Mr. Little, second?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
second.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Little for us to call again from the Mobile County Personnel Board for a Building Inspector 2 list. Any discussion? All right. No discussion on the matter. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, Heather, if you would, let's request another list, please, ma'am. Okay, we discussed the community center, and a family rented it last weekend, and I guess it's been closed up so long, we hadn't been using it a lot, and they said that there were some issues when they went in, so let's look and see what we need to do to get that. I mean, I don't know if we're going to have to hire somebody for more in-depth cleaning than what we're just doing with our cleaning service, but, you know, I would like for us to make sure that we keep the buildings up and looking nice as best we can.
Absolutely.
So, I think between the pre-council tonight and what's left on the agenda, I've covered everything with the exception of the payment on the personnel board that has come up a few weeks ago. Heather, can you shed any light on what we need to bring tonight? I know Edith was in there trying to tell us, but it was well before my time, and I think it may have been 4 years.
Yes, sir.
So,
Edith did the research on those 2 invoices that they sent us. We spoke about a couple times from 2016, 2017. She says they have not been paid. She doesn't have a reason as to why they were not paid, and didn't know if anybody on the council knew anything about it, but she can't find where it was paid. What we did pay that we talked about previously was part of it, not all of the invoice. So I don't know how some was paid and not all, but she said she paid what was given to her. So that's as far as I can go with it. I have no idea.
and I'm sorry, she couldn't find where it was paid, and it was, well, you know, from 2016 to 17, so.
This is a payment to the personnel board for dues or something, or membership?
I would assume it's like the, you know, what we pay every, is it quarter, I think?
Quarterly.
But it's from 2016 and 2017. Do not know why it's just now being brought up to our attention, but I don't know if Mr. Smith is doing, you know, some research and having everybody go back and check, but
Did it come from collections or come directly from them?
from them. He actually emailed myself and the mayor about it, and then that's when we started looking, and that's as far as we can tell you. Vicky said, we did speak with Vicky, and she's not aware as to why it was not paid either. So,
How much is it?
I don't remember. It was a good bit. I want to say,
Couple
Mr. Phillips, I'm
thousand?
not sure. Was it 2,000?
Why don't we just put it on the next meeting, and she can give you the exact amount, and
We can
maybe
give you the-
if some of y'all can research the minutes of the meeting. They kind of asked if some of y'all remembered anything about the discussion. So
Seems like that would have been in part of the bills, just, you know, invoices being
Here, I've
paid.
got it. October 21 of 2016, it was $932.68. And then January 27th of 2017, $2,636.16. So you're looking at $3,500. I mean, that's just quite a while ago.
Okay. I made,
Seems like we should have caught this way before now.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you're asking, and I'm sorry, but I can't remember that far back. But I mean, it's just like the other deal that we
Yeah.
just had. I mean, I hate it, but if we hadn't got anything showing that we did pay it, I mean, I'm just like the other. I mean, we need to pay our bills if we owe something. That's a mighty long time ago.
Yeah, but I'd like to see invoices for the last 5 years. That's what I'm saying. I'm not in favor of paying a 5-year-old bill just because somebody drug it up and said you owed it 5 years ago. And there's been no invoices sent on it.
And there is one invoice in there, I want to say it was the $900 one that partial was paid, but I don't
And I
know.
don't understand the partial.
I don't either,
That's what I'm
so
saying.
I would think that we need to pull that actual invoice and see why only part was paid. But
Okay.
I don't think Edith has that, so I'm not sure. I'll ask her tomorrow if she has that.
Can you research that a little further and get back with us at the next meeting, please? I mean, I think the rest of the items are either going to be covered in the items for discussion, consideration, or else the council member's going to have it. So with that being said, Mr. Little.
Mayor, I want to get back on the community center real quick. I think just mainly, a lot of the things that needed cleaning up was certain contents that was in there also, which that might need a little further help, but I think Ms. Trish Morrow went down there and, thanks to her, she done a good bit of cleaning, and we'll kind of see maybe where we need to go after that if we need some deeper cleaning, but hopefully we can get that taken care of. It's just, it's sat there for, a year and a half almost, without being used. Also, I wanted to mention Thursday morning, since we did reopen for the seniors, we want to have them a little, not another grand opening, but a reopening, I guess, just a few little refreshments and stuff like that. That'll be at 9 o'clock if anybody wants to come out and, see what's going on over there at the community center. Would be appreciated. And I mentioned in the pre-council, the ice machine needs some work done to it. Just, that's regular stuff that happens, I think, to ice machine. But also starting back up with our seniors, we had the little gift cards that we, bought a few drinks and stuff like that. And I want to make sure that was okay with the council also. We'll keep receipts and make sure all of that's taken care of in that aspect. The next thing, the Zeta reduction, the debris that we have down at our trash ramp, we're trying to get that taken care of. I know we're on top of another hurricane season, but we had roughly 6,000 yards of debris. Some of it we took to the landfill, but there's other that's there that needs to be taken care of. And we're pursuing trying to get the county to help us out with their equipment, and hopefully that'll be the cheapest route out. I did find out between pre-council and council meeting that we're looking into renewing our contract with Greenco, and if we're able to do that, they might give us the rate that they give us when we was on contract with them, which was very cheap. So if that's the case, that might be another option that I didn't mention to y'all. So I will be keep y'all updated with that, but that's kind of where we're at with that.
Okay. Well, good luck. Unfortunately, we might have to work on that, although I'm hoping
Yes,
not for a busy season this
and
year.
we're trying as quick as we can to get that taken care of.
Thank you for working on that, Randy.
That's all.
That's it.
Thank
Moving on, Mr. Butler.
All right, last week we had a fire in Creola. There was a double-wide trailer, and Satsuma was the first to the fire. And the fire was contained in the kitchen, and in about 3 minutes, they put the fire out, and there was a lot of smoke with it but I think everything was good right there. Nobody got hurt, but, you know, it was a little kitchen fire, so. And then Lieutenants Jonas Moss, Josh West, and firefighter Will Davis, they had a test and passed, and they received for Fire Inspector 1 class. So graduations for all these 3 fighters, and I'm proud for them. The Library of Satsuma, next week, the firefighters Jonathan Moss and Will Davis, they showed for the children in the library how to play what they're doing. They saw the fire trucks and talked with them, you know, and all the kids were excited about that, and they did a good job, both of them. And then also, 2 weeks ago, after the council meeting, that was Tuesday night, so Wednesday, Chief Harrell stopped the car, and he saw that there was a tag. So when he stopped him, and the guy threw a bag of drugs with it. So the chief got him. So, you know, a lot of people say that's kind of peppy, you know, when you get a tag or something like that, but everybody needs to know. You don't know what's going to be there. It could be drugs, it could be rifles or whatever. So I think Chief did a good job with that for that. So thank you for that. Captain Dukes scored 88, qualified with pistols. All right. The chief also got 100 with that. And Chief Barnett, he also scored too. So, you know, that's good. I'm glad that all these officers, that they qualify every year, and they did a good job with that. And also, I'm not making a motion, but at the next week, next month, I wanted to talk about I am going to say this, Officer Robert Moore, he is going to attend the traffic homicide investigation school. The cost is in September, and the cost is for 2 weeks cost. It's $1,680, and it includes hotels and meals. And this is paid for the police department budget. So, you know, I didn't make a motion. We can talk about it and talk it, you know, maybe next July. So other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Butler. Moving on, Mr. Skelton.
You only have one thing, and that's our new garbage truck should be delivered the first week of July, and we will begin working on our financing options in the next week or so.
Probably need to get started on that pretty soon.
Yep.
That's around $350,000 is what the cost is, if I remember.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. Skelton?
That's all.
Moving on, Ms. Reese.
Yes, sir. Last week, I met with Tom and Trish and Crystal. We met at Still Creek Lodge to discuss some of the ideas for renovation of the restrooms and of the kitchen. And I thought the meeting went well. We made a list of several things. We'll have additional meetings. And Tom has given us a drawing of the restrooms. Basically, oh, Randy was there too. I didn't mention that. Sorry. And your grandson. He was a big help. So we would like to see a restroom hallway, if you will, that comes from the front entrance and goes along the front, that would connect the kitchen as well. I'm only sharing this with you guys because I think it's a big deal that people don't enter the restrooms from the main dining room. So that'll be quite the change, and we are hoping for that. And I'm sure we'll have some volunteer action days to help with things, small things such as cleaning and painting, and maybe some input meetings from the community, those people that want to help and maybe be part of a committee that helps with design and things like that. So always looking for people to share their ideas. Also, I was notified that there were a few safety issues at the splash pad, so I wanted to let you guys know that we did address those. I spoke to Crystal this morning, and they will be taken care of if they haven't already. The fence, we do know that the fence is damaged from the hurricane, and we have gotten a quote, and we're just waiting for the day to have that fence repaired, so that will be addressed soon. Also, Heather and Crystal and I met with the gentleman that does the resurfacing of the tennis courts. He did the courts at the school. He met with us, and he's working on a proposal to fix the courts. Some different, there are different ways to fix it. So I guess we'll see what the budget is. And it's in our capital budget. And we will also include pickleball lines because we have gotten some interest on pickleball. And then with this court, it will be up to the USTA standard. So people from the school or people that are wanting to play a tournament, they would be able to play there, and it would be, I guess, regulated, you would say. Also, the municipal dinner is going to be this Thursday at 7 o'clock, hosted by the county commission downtown at the courthouse. Also, June 26th, Tom and I are going to be at the future site of the Bark Park installing a fence. So if you know anyone or you yourself would like to come and help, that is a Saturday. We will be out there putting in a fence and beautifying, it's Magnolia Park, right? Is that what it's called? I think we're going to try to bring that back, maybe put a magnolia in there. So if you want to help, if you like to garden or weed or anything like that, we'd love to have you. Or if you know how to put a fence in. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Moving on, Mr. Phillips.
Mayor, I got a list of things Public Works has been working on for the last 2 weeks, and I think they got a lot done. We've been mowing the streets throughout the city, weed eating the ditches around signs, trees, miscellaneous areas. There's also 17 loads of slag put on the road over on South Service Road. Put out, graded out. The road grader come out Friday and touched up on all the dirt roads and made that look a lot better. We done a hot patch like we talked about earlier at the pilot station, and seems like it's doing better, but I don't know how long that's going to last. Cleaned out the concrete ditches at Cherokee Park, and are they draining better since we cleaned them out? Okay, because I wasn't sure if we was going to have to do some leveling with concrete in the bottom once they dug them out. Started the Roundup spray. We're starting to spray the ditches, barring the rain and the wind. When we get a good day, we're starting to spray them. And we're replacing the signs that's being stowed throughout the city. Chief, how many streets have they moved the signs from, do you know?
Yes, 7. We did make an arrest in that case, but
Good deal. Okay. Got the signs back yet?
all but
We got some of them back. Yeah, all but one.
Great, so we won't have to buy none. Okay. Okay, and we're still waiting on the delivery of the beacon lights. Did they give us a update on the delivery? No? Okay. And also, we spoke earlier about the inmates. We're going to be able to start using inmates again July the 6th, so this work right here, this should increase even more then. And that's all I got, Mayor.
Mr. Phillips, going along that, the ditches, these downpours we've been having, the complaints are just, people coming in. I mentioned to Crystal, behind as Hannah Chase Way, those ditches there, did you get any luck in contacting one of the developers? We're going to have to do something to drain that. If you all rode through there those ditches, and I think a lot of that probably comes from the four-wheelers and the golf carts and everything else is running through those ditches. They're just silting in.
Yeah, there's a lot of yards flooding right there in these heavy rains.
I feel like we're going to have to really make some type of a plan.
Yeah, we did speak with the builder of those two houses right there, the yards are so low, and he was gonna go out there and dig that trench back out, and I just have not had a chance to get back there. It's on my list to do tomorrow.
Okay, if you would, let me know about that. Also, I suggested that we get a contract price to clean out some of these culverts and ditches. That's
Yeah, I was fixing to ask you, Chief Wade, we was needing his help on blowing out a few culverts on South Bond, right over there. And, yes, sir.
But I mean, there's several ditches throughout the city that needs a lot of attention. It's just going to be a.
We got a lot of
ongoing
culverts
process.
that's through the years have done filled up, and we just gotta get a plan on how we can afford to clean them.
Can I mention one thing?
Yes, ma'am.
I spoke about the splash pad because someone brought those things to my attention. So just a reminder to everyone that we are here for you. And sometimes we don't know about things, a lot of times. And it's important that you do contact us and that you reach out to us because we do care. And we can't have people and eyes everywhere. So with your help, we can get things done. And I do appreciate when people reach out because we are listening. So thank you.
Okay. All right. If that's all from the council, we'll move on to number 8, which are items for discussion and/or consideration. The first item listed tonight is payment of the bills.
Make a motion, we pay the bills in the amount of $32,557.13.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Little to pay the bills in said amount. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, we're paying the bills. Moving on to the second item, consideration resignation of Zachary Bradford as a part-time jailer dispatcher effective June the 18th, 2021. In order to order list for same vacancy.
I make a motion with good standing.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Butler, seconded by Ms. Reese to accept the resignation in good standing. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, resignation accepted in good standing. Moving on, number 3, consideration of application for a vacancy on the water board position.
Make a motion, we appoint Charles Harbin to that position.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton and seconded by Mr. Phillips, who were both on the water board also, to appoint Mr. Charles Harbin to the position of water board. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. Harbin, I think you're resigning from the Board of Adjustments, which is going to create a vacancy there, which leads us into the next item on the agenda, consideration of applications for a vacancy on the Board of Adjustments. And I know we already had one, so I think we had some applications, and I think we discussed last week and in pre-council tonight, Mr. Ray Black, a longtime resident here, Satsuma, about appointing him to the position. Mr. Skelton, would you go?
I'll make
Move
that
forward.
motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Phillips to appoint Ray Black to the Board of Adjustments. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay, gentlemen.
I need to abstain.
Okay. Right. All right, let it show it passed unanimous. One abstention on that, Mr. Little. Thank you all for serving, Mr. Harbin, and for Mr. Black, we'll contact him. Number 5, consideration of calling for a part-time police officer list to replace Jimmy Richardson, who resigned earlier this year.
I make a motion with good standing.
Second.
Well, I think on that, you're just making a motion to open the list, call for a list, correct? You said in good standing, but you just called for a list.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I saw that,
Okay.
yeah. I make a motion.
Call for good standing.
For a list.
Okay.
Good standing for the
Really
personnel
bad.
board. They better be.
So if it's okay to
Well,
word
I
it
try
that
to
way,
get
we
it.
can. So we have the correct wording of the motion now?
Yes.
Any discussion? Motion made by Mr. Butler, seconded by Ms. Reese, on the calling for the list of part-time police officer. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, okay. In the number 6 item, we discussed that a little bit, and just for clarification for those watching, consideration of allowing Victor Smith to host a student leadership conference July the 9th of this year at the community center with a payment of $125 for the cleaning. And we understand that Mr. Smith is affiliated with the school and is for the students. Is that
Yes, sir.
correct, Mr. Davis? Okay, just so they'll let everybody know that is basically something affiliated with the school before we went forward.
I make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Reese, seconded by Mr. Skelton to approve the rental just for the cleanup fee on that day for Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay. Passed. Number 7, the things we occasionally get around here when we cut grass and weed eat, but the consideration of a claim filed by David Towsley for damages to a windshield. I guess Mr. Towsley is requesting an additional fee in the amount of $36.36 to recover his notary charges and all, and the overnight postage in order to get the paperwork here. I think it was a windshield that was busted by one of the lawnmowers, and he's an out-of-town resident, but he did send in the paperwork as requested. Is that correct? And so if
I'll make that motion for $375 plus the $36.36.
okay.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Ms. Reese to refund the gentleman for the additional cost to get the replacement of his windshield. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, let's pay the gentleman his money. Consideration from Chief Waits to call for firefighter EMT list from the Mobile County Personnel Board.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Butler, seconded by Mr. Skelton to allow Chief Waits to call for a firefighter EMT list. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay. We'll call for the list. Is there any other business that needs to come before the council? Jay, I think you had a legal matter you wanted to discuss regarding that generator.
Yeah, we can, if y'all like to discuss it in executive session, we can, or I think I can just update you here, however y'all would like to go.
Is it pertaining to anything monetary or a settlement or anything that we need to be in executive session for, do you think?
What y'all want to do with it. We talked about litigation on it before. So if that's still an issue, then probably have to do it in executive session. Probably take 5 minutes.
Well, if someone would like to make a motion, we'll go in executive session. The time is approximately 7:50 for a 5-minute update on the issue resolving the generator. Anybody?
That's what we need to do.
So
I'll make the
moved.
motion.
Oh, go ahead.
Motion made by Mr. Little.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Reese for us to go into executive session for that time. If y'all will, please excuse us just for a few moments. We'll probably come out and adjourn after that, but it allows him to update us on legal matters that we don't discuss publicly. Excuse us for one moment. Thank you.
You just let me know what he's gonna do.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yes.
If you want, yes, right? Get,
And it's about your
That way we can go ahead
okay.
We're gonna start ordering dinner.
and rolling.
We're gonna start ordering dinner,
Yeah.
something.
You might do that.
Okay, the Satsuma City Council will come back to order. We returned from executive session. We were in about 11 minutes, so a little longer than we anticipated. Trying to resolve the issue of the generator, which has been an ongoing problem. So with that said, I think Mr. Skelton was talking about making a motion to go ahead and proceed with getting some testing done on the generator, and let's see if we can answer some of the questions that seem to come up. So, Jason, was you on?
Yeah, I'll make the motion that we proceed with testing the generator at a not-to-exceed cost of $1,500. That way, if we can find the contractor that can do it for less than that, we can go ahead and get going with it, so we'll know by the next meeting what route we need to take.
Okay. Mr. Skelton made a motion, seconded by Mr. Butler, to allow us up to $1,500 to see if we can get a service to perhaps identify some of the issues that's going on with the generator. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Those opposed. Okay, we will see if we can identify somebody to get that done. Last thing before we close tonight, obviously, we're getting into hurricane season again. We've mentioned that, so please, department heads, y'all make sure you're making the proper things to get taken care of and studied, and that we are prepared in case we have one of these storms that move in quickly on us. So with that being said, thank all of you for coming tonight. Thank those who tuned in tonight. And if a motion is made, we will adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Skelton made a motion, and Allison seconded, and we are now adjourned.